Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host Andrea, and I'm back to bring you news and commentary you can use. Listen, I hope you're doing well. I hope your family is doing well. I want to again say thank you all to those of you all who stayed up late with me last night, and you were on my almost 4.5 hour live, okay, where I was talking about the events of Saturday, July 13th, as it relates to President Trump and what happened with him as well as others on yesterday. So this is not what this video is about. However, if you do want to watch my live coverage, I was giving minute by minute updates. Please make sure you watch that video, okay? It's located in the live, on the live tab here on the channel. And I'll also link it to this video, okay? But listen, I normally say that whenever there seems to be a big headline story, okay, that they want us to focus on, the question I have learned to ask is, okay, what else is going on? What are other things that are happening that either they don't want us to know about or they just really don't want to know is going on, okay? I spoke about this story, and I, again, want to bring it back to your attention, okay? Not to scare you, but to make you aware of what's happening, and to think of ways that you can certainly prepare yourself and your family, okay? Listen, y'all, I want to talk about Houston, Texas again, okay? Houston, Texas is currently dealing with, if you're not aware, Houston, Texas is currently dealing with a large amount of power outages, okay? Here on the channel, here on Andrea Speaks TV, I've spoken about the power grid, the electric grid in Texas several times before, okay? This is not the first time that the state of Texas has dealt with an energy crisis, a power crisis. But this one in particular, we need to pay attention to, y'all, okay? I want to make you aware. I want to let you know, and I want to get your thoughts in the comments. Did you know that some people in Houston, okay, or Houstonians as they're referred to, according to my sources, some Houstonians, okay, some people in Houston, Texas, are sleeping in cars and selling valuables to survive power outages after Hurricane Beryl. Okay, y'all, these are power outages that have gone on almost a week, if not longer. Okay, so please pay attention. Tune in. I'm going to tell you what's going on, and I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Okay, according to my sources, as days of sweltering heat persist, Houstonians have directed their frustration over the lack of electricity towards local utility company CenterPoint Energy. Okay, you heard me talk about them in a previous video, which I'll also link in the description. CenterPoint Energy, which is under increased scrutiny for a perceived slow response after Hurricane Beryl landed on the Gulf Coast of Texas this week. Okay, now, as of Friday afternoon, my sources say that more than 800,000 customers remain without power and electricity more than 4 days after the hurricane flooded streets and left more than 2 million people. Okay, think about these numbers, y'all. Left more than 2 million people without running air conditioning as temperatures soared into the 90s. Okay, we've also talked about how hot it has been. One Houston resident was quoted as saying, "It's ridiculous. We're sleeping in hot rooms." And this resident also said that they had to take cold showers to sleep at night, okay? The Houston resident is also blaming the utility company and the storm for the upheaval. She was also quoted as saying, and she actually directed her question towards CenterPoint, and she said, and I quote, "What in the world are you going to do for us? And how are we going to be reimbursed for everything that we're losing?" Okay, also citing the fact that she has $600 worth of food that they had thrown away since the storm. Okay, y'all know food is expensive. We talked about that here on the channel. So the fact that $600 worth of food that they could have eaten, okay, and you know, in their particular case, I'm not sure about all of their setups and things like that, but it's obvious that they did not have a way to, even within their power outage, right? It's obvious, okay, this is a sign that they must not have had a way to keep their refrigerator or freezer running to keep their food from spoiling, okay? Let me see. Okay, as a matter of fact, this particular resident, okay, along with her fiance, They were said to have pawned their diamond cluster wedding bands this week just to get by and get gas money and food. Okay, I want to say that this is kind of the highlight of this article, because people literally, okay, in Houston, Texas, and this is just one story, there may be others, but people are literally doing what they have to do to survive. Okay, people are in survival mode. All right, we talk often here on the channel about being prepared with your emergency food supply, your survival needs, your backup energy, all of those things, right? And you have it, you never hope to use it. You're prepared in case you do. But in this case, these people are trying to survive, okay? It seems like they, at the time of this broadcast, I don't know how much help they have gotten from the state or federal government, but they're doing what they have to do in order to survive, okay? As a matter of fact, that's what was said, okay? The Houston resident was also quoted as saying, and I quote, "You got to do what you got to do to keep the kids fat and full," she said, okay, referring to the 3 grandchildren they're helping to raise. Now, the storm has been blamed, my sources say, for at least 11 losses of life in the U.S. and 9 in the Caribbean. At least 3 people lost their life in metropolitan Houston. That's according to weather officials, okay? Now, despite the public outrage, okay, a senior vice president of operations at Centerpoint told NBC News this week that it was prepared for the storm and had brought in crews from outside of Houston to mobilize as soon as the storm passed. Okay, this spokesperson was, the senior vice president of operations, Darren Carroll, was quoted as saying, and I quote, "We acknowledge what it must be like to live in Texas in July and to not have electricity," he said in the interview, adding that it is the fastest the company has ever restored power to about 1 million homes. Okay, so it sounds like in some type of way they tried to maybe empathize with the people there. They're also doing storm cleanup. Okay, they even said that, however, some areas with significant structural damage could experience prolonged outages while crews work to install thousands of new distribution poles and overhead conductors. Okay, so those are some of the things that are going on. Also, okay, Houston police are dealing with people breaking into businesses during the power outage. So that's something that's going on. There was a recent article posted out of Houston, Texas, where 4 men are facing charges after being caught breaking into multiple businesses. Okay, so this situation is not only affecting consumers, everyday people, but also business owners as well. Okay, the businesses were said to have, the individuals were said to have targeted businesses along Eastwood Street and near the Gulf Freeway. Okay, all are charged with felony burglary of a building, and that's something else that the people are working on as well. Okay, all right. So listen, y'all, I want to know your thoughts. This is something terrible that the people are having to endure. What should be done? Okay, what state resources should be allocated? Should more be done by the state of Texas? Should more be done by the federal government? What can and should be done to help these people